Cantos 8 to 11 of the Ramayana. Canto 8. Sumantra's speech. But splendid, just and great of mind, the childless king for offspring pined. No son had he his name to grace, transmitter of his royal race. Long had his anxious bosom wrought, and as he pondered rose the thought, a votive steed 'twere good to slay, so might a son the gift repay. Before his lords his plan he laid, and bade them with their wisdom aid. Then with these words Sumantra, best of royal counsellors, addressed, Hither, Vasishtha, at their head, let all my priestly gates be led. To him Sumantra made reply, Hear, sire, a tale of days gone by, to many a sage in time of old, Sanat Kumar the saint foretold, how from thine ancient line, O king, a son when years came round bring. Here dwells, it was thus the seer began, of Kashyap's race, a holy man, Vibhantak name to him shall spring, a son the famous Rishyas ring. Bred with the deer that round him roam, the wood shall be that hermit's home. To him no mortal shall be known, except his holy sire alone. Still by those laws shall he abide, which lives of youthful Brahman's guide, obedient to the strictest rule that forms the young ascetic school. And all the wondering world shall hear of his stern life and penance drear, his care to nurse the holy fire and do the bidding of his sire. Then seated on the Anga's throne shall Lomapad to fame be known, but folly wrought by that great king a plague upon the land shall bring. No rain for many a year shall fall, and grievous drought shall ruin all. The troubled king with many a prayer shall bid the priest some cure declare. The lore of heaven it's yours to know, nor are ye blind to things below. Declare, O holy man, the way this plague to expiate and stay. Those best of Brahmans shall reply, by every art, O monarch, try. Hither to bring Vibhandak's child, persuaded, captured, or beguiled, and when the boy is hither led, to him thy daughter duly wed. But how to bring that wondrous boy, his troubled thoughts will long employ, and hopeless to achieve the task, he counsel of his lords will ask, and bid his priests and servants bring, with honor saintly Rishyas ring. But when they hear the monarch's speech, all these their master will beseech, with trembling hearts and looks of woe, to spare them for their fear to go. And many a plan will they declare, and crafty plots will frame, and promise fair to show him there, unforced with none to blame. On every word his lord shall say, the king will meditate, and on the third returning day recall them to debate. Then this shall be the plan agreed, that damsels shall be sent, attired in holy hermit's weed, and skilled in blandishment, that they the hermit may beguile, with every art and amorous wile, whose use they knew so well, and by their witcheries seduce the unsuspecting young recluse to leave his father's cell. Then when the boy with willing feet shall wander from his calm retreat, and in that city stand, the troubles of the king shall end, and streams of blessed rain descend upon the thirsty land. Thus shall the holy Rishyas ring to Lomapad the mighty king by wedlock be allied for Santa fairest of the fair. In mind and grace beyond compare shall be his royal bride. He at the offering of the steed the flames with holy oil shall feed. And for King Dasaratha gain, sons whom his prayers have begged in vain, I have repeated, sire, thus far the words of old Sanat Kumar, in order as he spoke them then, amid the crowd of holy men. Then Dasaratha cried with joy, say how they brought the hermit boy. End of Canto 8. Canto 9. Rishyas ring. The wise Sumantra thus addressed, unfolded at the king's behest, the plan the lords in council laid, to draw the hermit from the shade. The priest amid the lordly crowd, to Lomapad thus spoke aloud, Hear, king, the plot our thoughts have framed, a harmless trick by all unblamed. Far from the world that hermit's child lives lonely in the distant wild, a stranger to the joys of sense, his bliss is pain and abstinence. And all unknown or woman yet, to him a holy anchoret. The gentle passions we will wake, that with resistless influence shake the hearts of men, and he, drawn by enchantment strong and sweet, shall follow from his lone retreat, and come and visit thee. Let ships be formed with utmost care, that artificial trees may bear, and sweet fruit deftly made. Let goodly raiment rich and rare, and flowers and many a bird be there, beneath the leafy shade. Upon the ships thus decked a band of young and lovely girls shall stand, rich in each charm that wakes desire, and eyes that burn with amorous fire, well skilled to sing and play and dance, and ply their trade with smile and glance. Let these attired in hermit's dress betake them to the wilderness, and bring the boy of life austere, a voluntary captive here. He ended, and the king agreed, by the priest's counsel won, and all the ministers took heed to see his bidding done. In ships with wondrous art prepared, away the lovely women fared, and soon beneath the shade they stood of the wild, lonely, dreary wood. And there the leafy cot they found, where dwelt the devotee, and looked with eager eyes around the hermit's son to see. Still of Vibhandak sore afraid, they hid behind the creeper's shade, but when by careful watch they knew the elder saint was far from view, with bolder steps they ventured nigh to catch the youthful hermit's eye. Then all the damsels, blithe and gay, at various games began to play. They tossed the flying ball about with dance and song and merry shout, and moved their scented tresses bound with wreaths in mazy motion round. Some girls, as if by love possessed, sank to the earth in feigned unrest, upstarting quickly to pursue their intermitted game anew. It was a lovely sight to see those fair ones as they played, while fragrant robes were floating free, and bracelets clashing in their glee, a pleasant tinkling made. The anklets chimed the coils with music filled with plays, as 'twere some city in the sky which heavenly minstrels grace. With each voluptuous art they strove to win the tenant of the grove, and with their graceful forms inspire his modest soul with soft desire. With arch of brow, with beck and smile, with every passion waking, while of glance and lotus hand, with all enticements that excite the longing for unknown delight, which boys in vain withstand. Forth came the hermit's son to view the wondrous sight to him so new, and gazed in rapt surprise, far from his natal hour till then, on women or the sons of men he never had cast his eyes. He saw them with their waist so slim, with fairest shape and faultless limb, in variegated robes arrayed, and sweetly singing as they played. Near and more near the hermit drew, and watched them at their game, and stronger still the impulse grew, to question whence they came. They marked the young ascetic gaze, with curious eye and wild amaze, and sweet the long-eyed damsels sang, and shrill their merry laughter rang. Then came they nearer to his side, and languishing with passion cried, "Whose son, O youth, and who art thou, come suddenly to join us now? And why dost thou all lonely dwell in the wild wood? We pray thee tell, we wish to know thee, gentle youth. Come tell us, if thou wilt, the truth." He gazed upon the sight he never had seen before of girls so fair, and out of love a longing rose, his sire and lineage to disclose. "My father," thus he made reply, "is Kasyap's son, a saint most high. Vibhantak styled, from him I came, and Rishyasring he calls my name. Our hermit cot is near this place. Come thither, O ye fair of face, there be it mine with honor due, ye gentle youths, to welcome you." They heard his speech and gave consent, and gladly to his cottage went. Vibhandak's son received them well, beneath the shelter of his cell, with guest gift, water for their feet, and woodland fruit and roots to eat. They smiled and spoke sweet words like these, delighted with his courtesies. "We too have goodly fruit in store, grown on the trees that shade our door. Come, if thou wilt, kind hermit, haste the produce of our grove to taste. And let, O good ascetic, first this holy water quench thy thirst." They spoke, and they gave him comfit sweet, prepared ripe fruits to counterfeit, and many a dainty cake beside, and Lucius mead their stores supplied. The seeming fruits in taste and look the unsuspecting hermit took, for strange to him their form beguiled, the dweller in the lonely wild. Then round his neck fair arms were flung, and there the laughing damsels clung, and pressing nearer and more near, with sweet lips whispered at his ear, while rounded limb and swelling breast the youthful hermit softly pressed. The pleasing charm of that strange bowl, the touch of a tender limb, over his yielding spirit stole, and sweetly vanquished him. But vows, they said, must now be paid. They bade the boy farewell, and of the aged saint affright, prepared to leave the dell. With ready guile, they told him where their hermit dwelling lay, then lest the sires should find them there, sped by wild paths away. They fled and left him there alone, by longing love possessed, and with a heart no more his own, he roamed about distressed. The aged saint came home to find the hermit boy distraught, revolving in his troubled mind one solitary thought. Why dost thou not, my son, he cried, thy due obeisance pay? Why do I see in the tide of whelming thought today? A devotee should never wear a mien so sad and strange. Come quickly, dearest child, declare the reason of the change. And Rishya's ring, when questioned thus, made answer in this wise. O sire, there came to visit us some men with lovely eyes. About my neck soft arms they wound, and kept me tightly held. The tender breast so soft and round, that strangely heaved and swelled. They sing more sweetly as they dance, than ever I heard till now, and play with many a sidelong glance, and arching of the brow. My son, said he, thus giants roam, where holy hermits are, and wander round their peaceful home, their rites austere to mar. I charge thee, thou must never lay thy trust in them, dear boy. They seek thee only to betray, and woo but to destroy. Thus having warned him of his foes, that night at home he spent, and when the morrow's sun arose, forth to the forest went. But Rishya's ring with eager pace sped forth and hurried to the place where he those visitants had seen of dainty waist and charming mien. When from afar they saw the son of Saint Vibhantak toward them run, to meet the hermit boy they hied, and hailed him with a smile and cried, O come, we pray, dear Lord, behold our lovely home of which we told. Due honor there to thee we will pay, and speed thee on thy homeward way. Pleased with the gracious words they said, he followed where the damsels led. As with his gaze his steps he bent, that Brahman, high of worth, a flood of rain from heaven was sent, that gladdened all the earth. Vibhantak took his homeward road, and wearied by the heavy load of roots and woodland fruit he bore, entered at last his cottage door. Fain for his son he looked around, but desolate the cell he found. He stayed not then to bathe his feet, though fainting with the toil and heat, but hurried forth and roamed about, calling the boy with cry and shout. He searched the wood, but all in vain, nor tidings of his son could gain. One day beyond the forest bound, the wandering saint a village found, and asked the swains and neathers there, who owned the land so rich and fair, with all the hamlets of the plain, and herds of kine and fields of grain. They listened to the hermit's words, and all the guardians of the herds, with suppliant hands together press, this answer to the saint address. The Anga's lord, who bears the name of Lamapad, renowned by fame, bestowed these hamlets with their kind, and all their riches as a sign of grace on Rishya's ring, and he, Vibhandak's son, is said to be. The hermit with exulting breast, the mighty will of fate confessed, by meditations I discerned, and cheerful to his home returned. A stately ship at early morn, the hermit's son away had borne. Loud roared the clouds as on he sped, the sky grew blacker overhead, till as he reached the royal town, a mighty flood of rain came down. By the great rain the monarch's mind the coming of his guest divined. To meet the honored youth he went, and low to earth his head he bent. With his own priest to lead the train, he gave the gift high guests obtained, and sought with all who dwelt within the city walls his grace to win. He fed him with the daintiest fare, he served him with unceasing care, and ministered with anxious eyes, lest anger in his breast should rise, and gave to the Brahman's bride his own fair daughter lotus-eyed. Thus loved and honored by the king, the glorious Brahman Rishyasring passed in that royal town his life with Santas, his beloved wife. End of Canto 9. Canto 10. Rishyasring invited. Again, O best of kings, give ear, my saving words attentive hear, and listen to the tale of old by that illustrious Brahmans told. Of famed Ikshvaku's line shall spring. 'Twas thus he spoke, a pious king, named Dasaratha good and great, true to his word and fortunate. He with the Anga's mighty lord shall ever live in sweet accord, and his a daughter fair shall be, Santa of happy destiny. But Lomapad, the Anga's chief, still pining in his childless grief, to Dasaratha thus shall say, Give me thy daughter, friend, I pray, thy Santa of the tranquil mind, the noblest one of womankind. The father, swift to feel for woe, shall on his friend his child bestow, and he shall take her and depart to his own town with joyous heart. The maiden home in triumph led, to Rishyasring the king shall wed, and he with loving joy and pride shall take her for his honored bride, and Dasaratha to a rite the best of Brahmans shall invite, with supplicating prayer to celebrate the sacrifice, to win him sons and paradise, that he will fain prepare. From him the Lord of men at length, the boon he seeks shall gain, and see 4 sons of boundless strength, his royal line maintain. Thus did the godlike saint of old the will of fate declare, and all that should befall unfold amid the sages there. O Prince Supreme of men, go thou, consult thy holy guide, and win to aid thee in thy vow this Brahmans to thy side. Sumantra's counsel wise and good, King Dasaratha heard. Then by Vasishta's side he stood, and thus with him conferred. Sumantra counsels thus, Do thou, my priestly guide, the plan allow. Vasishta gave his glad consent, and forth the happy monarch went, with lords and servants on the road that led to Rishyasring's abode. Forests and rivers duly passed, he reached the distant town at last, of Lomapad's the Anga's king, and entered it with welcoming. On through the crowded streets he came, and radiant as the kindled flame, he saw within the monarch's house the hermit's son most glorious. There Lomapad with joyful breast to him all honor paid, for friendship for his royal guest, his faithful bosom swayed. Thus entertained with utmost care, 7 days or 8 he tarried there, and then that best man thus broke his purpose to the king and spoke. O King of men, mine ancient friend, thus Dasaratha prayed, Thy Santa with her husband send my sacrifice to aid. Said he who ruled the Angas, Ye, and his consent wastened, and then at once he turned away to warm the hermit's son. He told him of their ties beyond, their old affection's faithful bond. This king, he said, from days of old, a well-beloved friend I hold. To me this pearl of dames he gave, from childless woe mine age to save, the daughter whom he loved so much, moved by compassion's gentle touch. In him thy Santa's father see, as I am even so he see. For sons, childless monarch yearns, to thee alone for help he turns. Go thou, the sacred rite ordained, to win these sons he prays to gain. Go with thy wife, thy succor lend, and give his vows a blissful end. The hermit's son with quick accord obeyed the Anga's mighty lord, and with fair Santa at his side to Dasaratha's city hied. Each king with suppliant hands upheld, gazed on the other's face, and then by mutual love impelled, met in a close embrace. Then Dasaratha's thoughtful care, before he parted thence, bade trusty servants homeward bear the glad intelligence. Let all the town be bright and gay, with burning incense sweet. Let banners wave and water lay the dust in every street. Glad were the citizens to learn the tidings of their lord's return, and through the city every man obediently his task began. And fair and bright Ayodhya showed, as following his guest he rode through the full streets where shell and drum proclaimed aloud the king was come. And all the people with delight kept gazing on their king, attended by that youth so bright, the glorious Rishyasring. When to his home the king had brought the hermit's saintly son, he deemed that all his task was wrought, and all he prayed for won. And lords who saw that stranger dame, so beautiful to view, rejoiced within their hearts, and came and paid her honor too. There Rishy's ring passed blissful days, graced like the king with love and praise, and shone in glorious light with her. Sweet Santa for his minister as Brahma's son Vasishtha, he who wedded Saint Arundhati. End of Canto 10. Canto 11. The sacrifice decreed. The dewy season came and went, the spring returned again. Then would the king with mind intent his sacrifice ordain. He came to Rishy's ring and bowed to him of look divine, and bade him aid his offering vowed for heirs to save his line. Nor would the youth his aid deny, he spake the monarch fair, and prayed him for that right so high, all requisites prepare. The king to wise Sumantra cried, who stood ready near, go summon quick each holy gate, to counsel and to hear. Obedient to his lord's behest, away Sumantra sped, and brought Vasishtha and the rest, in scripture deeply read. Suyajana Vamadeva came, Javali Kashyap's son, and old Vasishtha dear to fame, obedient every one. King Dasaratha met them there, and duly honoured each, and spoke in pleasant words his fair and salutary speech. In childless longing doomed to pine, no happiness, O lords, is mine. So have I for this cause decreed, to slay the sacrificial steed. Fain would I pay that offering high, wherein the horse is doomed to die, with Rishy's ring his aid to lend, and with your glory to befriend. With loud applause each holy man received his speech, approved the plan, and by the wise Vasishtha led, gave praises to the king and said, the sons thou cravest shalt thou see, of fairest glory born to thee, whose holy feelings bid thee take this righteous course for offspring's sake. Cheered by the ready praise of those whose aid he sought, his spirits rose, and thus the king his speech renewed, with looks of joy and gratitude. Let what the coming rites require be ready as the priest desire, and let the horse ordained to bleed, with fitting god and priest be freed. Yonder on Sarju's northern side the sacrificial ground provide, and let the saving rites that not ill-omened may occur be wrought. The offering I announce today, each lord of earth may claim to pay, provided that his care can guard the holy rite by flaws unmarred. For wandering fiends, whose watchful spite waits eagerly to spoil each rite, hunting with keenest eye detect the slightest slip, the least neglect. And when the sacred work is crossed, the workman is that moment lost. Let preparation due be made, your powers the change can meet. That so the noble rite be paid, in every point complete, and all the Brahmins answered his mandate honouring, and gladly promised to obey the order of the king. They cried with voices raised aloud, success attend thine aim. Then bade farewell and lowly bowed, and hastened whence they came. King Dasaratha went within, his well-loved wives to see, and said, you lustral rites begin, for these shall prosper me. A glorious offering I prepare, that precious fruit of sons may bear. Their lily faces bright and fast, those pleasant words to hear, as lilies when the winter's past, in lovelier hues appear. End of Canto 11. End of Cantos 8 to 11. This recording is from Raju from Burleson, Texas, United States. Ramina45@hotmail.com